Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy Healing with Luke. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry it's been a while since my last one. I have been looking into all the mental health disorders we've got, the 200 of them, and there is so many to mention. It really is off the scale. It's ridiculous. I'm going to go through some of them, but just to name them, and then if anybody would like to have more information on the individual disorders I mentioned, then please put in the comments and we can do another video looking deeper into certain disorders. I mean, with 200 we all know someone who's got a disorder, and there's a lot of us out there who have had some form of therapy due to mental health issues, etc. You know, there's a lot going on out there, and you know, the idea of it is to get rid of stigma. And there's been a lot of talk about stigma surrounding suicide, i.e. my last couple of videos were on suicide. You know, so it's a subject matter that is it's getting spoken about more, and rightly so. But not just talking with these disorders. I mean, there's a lot of education that's needed as well if we're going to get rid of stigma. Like I said, a lot of emphasis around stigma is talking, and rightly so. If we're going to get rid of something, you need to talk about it. But then if we're not doing the work to understand it, then, and what they are, you know, it just prolongs even further, you know. So I'm going to go through, how many am I going to go through? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go through 4 today, and in that 4 there's surprisingly 40 individual mental health disorders, which is astronomical. So I've done a AI video on personality disorders with the 3 clusters A, B and C. In total there's 10 personality disorders as of 2024. Personality cluster A has 3, cluster B has 4, and cluster C has 3. In cluster A you've got paranoid personality disorder, you've got schizoid personality disorder, and you've got schizotypal personality disorder. Cluster B, you've got 4 types as I mentioned. You've got antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, you've got histrionic personality disorder, and seems to be the subject matter of the day actually across all forms of social media. It's highly spoken about, and that's narcissistic personality disorder. You know, with the narcissistic personality disorder, you know, a lot of people on social media are talking quite a lot about it. There's a lot of comments on social media on individual posts. A lot of people are getting it wrong. Please do your homework on it. Please don't just comment for the sake of commenting. It works both ways for men and women. You know, it's not nice, but it's not nice to diagnose someone with it at the same time, you know. So please get educated on what you're going to comment on. It's a sore subject. It's not nice, and getting it wrong isn't nice for the individual who's being spoke about either, you know. So please be mindful when you're going to be commenting all over social media about something. Just because a man has an argument with a woman, it doesn't make him a narcissist. People have arguments in relationships and fallouts, you know. This it's part of course, you know, but don't be diving in head first and throwing accusations out there, because they're not nice, they're damaging, and people have to live with that damage. And if it's wrong, then, you know, it's just causing unnecessary problems and pain for an individual, you know. So bear that in mind when it comes to narcissistic personality disorder, because if you haven't heard of it already, you're going to be hearing more and more and more out of it in the next couple of months or year. It seems to be the fashion, the social media fashion at the moment, you know, so please be careful. Cluster C has 3 types, which is dependent personality disorder, avoidant personality disorder, and obsessive compulsive personality disorder. That is OCPD, not OCD. There is a difference in them, and it's not to be confused with OCD. So that's 10 disorders in personality alone. So, you know, there's a lot of diagnosis to be made there, you know. So yeah, they're not, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot of work on there to do. Again, I've mentioned in videos about coping with have we got enough professionals, therapists, counsellors, etc. I don't believe we have, but I said in the pandemic that my biggest concern with the pandemic would be mental health on the after effects, and it's certainly proving to be the case, you know. So that was an educated guess back then. Now we move on to autism, which is it's getting quite common 2024. Now my brother, I've documented my brother in a few videos, growing up with my brother with his mental health issues. For those of you who do know me and are close enough, I have had conversations with you, and I have said my personal opinion on my brother is probably he was autistic, but back in the late 70s, early 80s, we knew nothing about it, you know, and to get diagnosed on something back then was extremely difficult, especially with my father, whose generation, they just didn't speak about anything, you know. They weren't allowed to talk about much at all, to be honest, and men especially, you know. For those of us who are brought up to men don't talk and we just get on with it and push through and provide, you know, yeah, we did, but, you know, we're changing the narrative now. We're doing a lot better. We're encouraging our kids to talk in the right way, you know. So my dad, growing up when he did in the 40s and 50s, God knows what it was like back then, but trying to get information out of them now is proving to be extremely difficult. They just don't talk. They shut up shop. Most do anyway, you know. So for my dad, with my brother, I do believe my brother had autism just because of living with it as an adult, or living around it as an adult, seeing it for my own eyes, you know. I do believe my brother had autism, but in 2024 we've got 5 different types of autism, you know. So again, where are we expanding things? Are we naming things? Are we boxing things up? Are we not getting rid of or trying to cure anything? We're just boxing it up. The boxes are getting full up, so we declutter and put in another box, you know. We're just naming so many different things, and is that the way forward? I don't think it is, but it's 2024 and that's what we're doing. So with autism, we've got Asperger's, we've got Rett syndrome, we've got childhood disintegrative disorder, we've got Kainer's syndrome, and we've got pervasive development disorder. And they come in 3 different types, 1, 2, 3, or levels I should say, levels 1, 2 and 3. 3 being the most extreme, where more support and help is required, and 1 being the least. then we've got then we go on to anxiety. I mean, most of us will feel anxious and have a bit of anxiety from one thing or another during our life. You know, life happens, gets in the way. You've got your work worries, you've got family life worries, you've got loved ones being ill or being taken ill, etc. You know, so we all get a little bit anxious from time to time, but obviously some suffer a little bit harder than others, you know, and we're all different, and some people take longer to deal with things or to get over things. And there's 11 different types of anxiety disorder in 2024. Again, it's like high numbers. Is it really necessary to split it up and put it into different things when ultimately it's anxiety, it's a disorder, you know? But, you know, is that a fair comment to make? Is that fair on an individual who is going through something, you know? So we've got 11. We've got generalized anxiety disorder, we've got panic disorder, we've got social anxiety disorder, we got specific phobia, we got agoraphobia, we've got separation anxiety disorder, selective mutism, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, not OCPD, which I mentioned earlier. And it's not to be confused with, they're both not to be confused with each other. What else we got? Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, that is under anxiety disorders, believe it or not. You got medication-induced anxiety disorder, and you got health anxiety. So there's a lot there on its own, you know. So some are very similar to other disorders, which will be under a different bracket. It's just off the scale though, these numbers. I mean, I'm trying to get it out there. If another way of getting rid of stigma is to understand a little bit more about different disorders, I'm just naming these and the headings that they're under, you know. And this is only one video that's going to show 40, you know. I'm going to go through all 200 disorders that we've got, but it's going to have to be split up into 2 or 3 videos, unfortunately. Otherwise it's just, I'll be sitting here for hours on end, and I'm not even going through the symptoms. I'm just giving you some names of disorders and the brackets they head under, you know. So we got mood disorders. Again, looking deep into this, you got mood disorders, you got 2 groups. You got bipolar and depressive, and they're quite big as well. Now I'm going to give you 7 as a breakdown, but if you look into the individual groups, they just expand ridiculously. It's just so alarming, to be honest. The expansion is just, is it really necessary? So we've got the 2 groups, as I said, bipolar and depressive. We've got major depressive disorder. We've got bipolar 1 disorder, formerly known as manic depression. You've got bipolar 2 disorder. And you've got cyclothemic disorder, disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. You've got persistent depressive disorder and premenstrual dysphoric disorder. That's 7 alone, but if you break them up individually and look into the groups, especially with depression, it's a lot longer than that. And bipolar on its own, if you looked into bipolar, there's quite a few disorders in there, you know. I'm just giving you basic on mood disorders there. Again, I could have done a video on its own, I can do a video individually on all of them. Put in the comments if that's what you want to learn about. I can give you more information about it, or just go on the internet. You know, there's so much information out there on all these different disorders we've got. You know, yeah, I'm gonna lastly today I'm gonna go name the 7 neurocognitive disorders. There's 7 of them, and neuro being brain. There is another list which is ridiculously long again. So we got delirium, dementia, traumatic brain injury, HIV associated neurocognitive disorder, broken down it's called HAND. Got amnesia, chronic traumatic bear with me, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. I've never heard of that, but again, I can look into that if you want me to. And there's agnosia. It's just off the scale, isn't it? And then the numbers are ridiculous. In the next video, I'm going to go through the dissociative disorders, the neurodevelopmental disorders, and the sleep-wake disorders and associated disorders that go along with them. And that is one hell of a long list for the sleep-wake disorders and associated disorders. It is ridiculously long. Like I said, I'll be here for hours on end just going through them all. Yeah, if we're going to get rid of this stigma surrounding mental health, I believe we can do it. I believe our children will definitely do it. We've set the boundaries now, and we're pushing it home. Keep pushing it home. Get educated on it. Let's get rid of this stigma surrounding mental health, because it's everywhere we look, everywhere we move. There's mental health around us. It's surrounding us on a daily basis. It's not nice to see the people we know and love go through anything. It's not nice when we go through it ourselves and we haven't got the understanding or support around us. And the only way we can improve on that is individually, if we get educated on it. You know, there's no better help than understanding, is there? You know, like I said, we can all be supportive, but to be empathetic is to feel it, to know it, to have gone through it, or to lived with it, you know. So get educated, guys. Let's get rid of this stigma. Let's work together on this and let's get it done. Yeah. I'm in the passenger seat of my car today. It's a lot more comfortable here, I tell you. Never sat here before, and I wanted to go out today. It actually hasn't been a bad day. We've had a little bit of overcast and a bit of drizzle earlier, but nothing major. But I'm off work until Wednesday night, and it's been eating away at me doing a video. So again, my apologies for taking so long. Thank you for all the views and the likes in my previous video. I know the subject matter was a little bit deep, but appreciated all the same. Keep supporting. Like I said, get the knowledge, and let's start helping each other get through whatever it is we go through from time to time, you know. And let's bring these disorders down. Let's stop boxing them up and seeing if we can get rid of some of them, you know. There's a lot out there. So guys, I love ya. If you haven't already, please subscribe, please like, share, comment, the usual. YouTube love it, I love it, and it does wonders for the channel as well, and it'll keep the content going. So on that note, love you all. Until the next one, happy healing with Luke.